TheArtSherpa, and today you are going to love doing today's painting, which is Lightening Calling. It's a story of a man walking the tracks on a journey to a destination only he knows about, carrying his axe behind him in a thunderstorm, possibly adding lightning. On the mic today is John.
Hi, guys.
John is going to read your comments, talk to you, help you enjoy this live engagement. I'm going to teach this painting live. If you want to know how to sketch this in, one of our moderators has the link to the Facebook Live where I kind of demoed sketching this crazy idea in. And also, of course, as always, there's a traceable on TheArtSherpa.com on the blog about London is Calling and the reference photo.
That's great.
All free, by the way. Just log in. And I'm kind of in a good mood for this today.
Yeah?
Yeah, kind of in.
Sure.
Kind of like a perfect Valentine's Day painting, isn't
Well,
it?
happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy
day before half off chocolate.
That's right.
It's the day before half off chocolate, which is my favorite day of the year.
Well, except for the day of half off chocolate. So tomorrow will be the better.
Tomorrow is the best day. Because the chocolate will be eaten tomorrow.
But this
and
is
the
a good
flowers
day.
will be purchased. Sorry.
So
I'm like the Scrooge McScrooge of Valentine's Day.
So we're on coffee run today. It's a later in the afternoon broadcast.
It's later in the afternoon broadcast. We're on coffee. We're doing a live paint from an image I kind of montaged together.
Oh, I'm gonna see if I
to
can
tell the story
I'll
of
work
London
on that.
is Calling. This is an Angelooney collab. If you check the iCard, you can see the link to Angel's Live, which is on later today around 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna see if I can.
And if you like to know what Angela
this
and
out.
Anderson and I are doing, we got a Facebook group called Angelooney.
Here's your picture.
There it is. That's what I'm doing.
That's what
Do you
you're
like
doing.
it? By the way, I have learned from our UK Sherpettes, that is not a Union Jack. That's a Union flag.
Right.
Well, I'm American, and so I had a moment today. So I'm really sorry to everybody in the UK. After this video is over, we're going to fix it. But now you know because it's on video. It will be forever on YouTube. I got to figure out how this YouTube thing works.
Yes.
Sippy.
What is the YouTube?
I don't even know.
How do
we did wishes there. I did want to let you know that I did catch the wish for the dam and the evacuation in California last minute, and I put it in after. But all the wishes are there.
Up there in the
sketches
Oresville
there. Let's look at our paint colors today, which are kind of crazy. So this is an example. When I'm doing a painting and I haven't pre-done it, I like to have a variety of options. As an interesting thing. So I've given myself ultramarine blue and phthalo blue today. Cad yellow medium, phthalo green, black, Dogsine purple. This is Indian yellow or Australian sienna. Either one will work there. Or, you don't have to have this one. This is just one I really like. Burnt sienna, burnt umber, naphthol red medium, titanium white, and of course, because I'm going to be doing a bunch of landscaping, acrylic glazing liquid gloss.
No.
And if you've been with me for a very long time, you know I really only bug you about products if they genuinely help in the production of the painting.
Yeah.
And so I really just like that because it slows down the drying time of the paint and it lets me glaze. And I really like that. Maybe painting in with cups of water and acrylic brushes for painting, brushes for acrylic painting. And I'll be telling you about this as I go. And of course, all that information is always in the description below or on TheArtSherpa.com or on Facebook or Twitter,
I'm going to jump
Instagram, everywhere we are.
I'm going to let you know that we have over 300 people in the room here with us.
We are Sherpa.
And I'm going to pump up there a little because Trish was like, what is this, a Clash tribute? And I was like, oh, sure. We'll call this our Clash tribute song. Right? Because that's, I don't know.
If you're not dancing at your easel, you're not really.
Seriously, guys, we don't take ourselves too terribly seriously because we know that smiling, laughing, and dancing and carrying on is part of finding that happiness in your life. And, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of this celebration of fun and paint and having a good time. And, if you can't get up and dance, don't forget to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes because you can remind your body that you're celebrating in other ways, right?
That's right.
So.
All right, I'm going to sketch in my world with an underpainting. Now, I've been very nice and put in my railroad tracks, but the honest truth is probably I'm going to have to do a lot of tweaking there, and I'm going to kind of sketch him in and be blocking this in. This is going to be called an underpainting, and what I'm going to mean is that I'm going to very quickly brush in fields of paint like filling in a puzzle.
Yeah.
That creates an underpainting that I can start building up layers and density and character with. And I'm going to be using my my very nice paint for that. So I'm going to start out with burnt umber and a little ultramarine blue.
Yeah.
To deepen it. And I'm going to start putting in my guy. Now, I had an intention. This is a number 4 bright, by the way, that I'm using. And what it is I'm picking a brush that is a size that gives me control. That's all it is. I'm not too big, not too small. You gotta get this brush just right.
Yeah.
Just right. I'm going to do the collar, I think, as wool. And there's going to be a lightning strike over here, even though it's not in the reference photo. This painting was sort of inspired by a woman named Patricia and her husband, and so there will be lightning.
Now, could you use yellow ochre here
You
instead?
could. You can. Here's something, because this is a 3-hoop painting today. And so if you've never painted with me before and you're wandering in because you're like, what is this live painting?
Multi-hoot.
I love teaching beginners to paint, and I have very simple paintings for that, for you guys to start out with, and those are wonderful. But once you've done a few of those, you want more challenges. You want more interesting, more challenging paintings. I'm going to grab a little burnt sienna. And so to that end, I include more complex projects that you can follow along with and maybe grow those art skills a little bit past that painting party level.
Oh, so like Australian sienna could even be like for those advanced, maybe?
Oh, I love Australian sienna.
So could they use Australian sienna here?
Yeah, I remember I said that it was Indian yellow or Australian
Okay,
sienna.
I just want to make sure. It's like,
yeah,
I'm
okay.
pushing buttons, so I'm not always.
You're like,
I'm
I don't
so
know what
sorry.
you said.
I don't pay attention to my wife. She's out there talking. I'm pushing buttons. What do you mean?
You know what? It's really hard what you do.
No,
I'm just painting this all in with this
I'm
mixture
lucky to do what
of
we do.
ultramarine blue and burnt umber.
So, Protozoa would like to know, what does the term 3-hoop mean? That's actually 3-hoot.
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 So when we started out, I started out just doing very simple paintings, and I was trying to explain to people how easy they were, and I am still really into owls. So I would say this is a 1-hoot painting, or this is 2-hoot, and I would theorize that someday we would do a 3-hoot painting, but we didn't for a long time. The idea being that if you're a beginner, there's 3 stages of beginning painting. I haven't touched a brush since kindergarten or ever. That would be 1-hoot. Then I haven't painted in a long time, but I used to paint. I used to art in school. I used to art in college, and some idiot person said something stupid to me that made me quit. That's generally that 2-hoot range, and 3-hoot is that I'm not ready to completely go it alone, but I need to be challenged. I'm ready to take on those big art challenges. I'm feeling confident, and so this is a long project. They're going to run about 2 hours.
Yeah.
The 3-hoot painting is going to run a little over 2 hours. Whereas, a 1-hoot could be 20 minutes. See the difference? And in YouTube time, man, that's a big YouTube time. That's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because YouTube's like, thou shalt not make videos over a certain time.
Who said that?
I don't know, YouTube.
No,
and they said it like that. They said, thou shalt not.
I think
I'm
that was
quoting them now.
Facebook that said that.
Officially in a blog somewhere that I
No, YouTube was like, you can stream forever.
Yeah,
And
I actually could stream for 24 hours if I could stay awake that long.
I think you can continuously stream, but at some point they're kind of like, do you have anything worth streaming 24/7, 7 days a week? Because we'll let you do it, but
why would you?
why? Yeah, I mean,
Maybe we would. It would be very interesting. I'm not suggesting.
Yeah,
anything.
no, I mean, like
I've been told not to promise anything ever.
Maybe like somebody like even the Young Turks. I mean, they're a big YouTube show here, and they don't stream 24/7. I don't think.
No, they don't.
So I mean, you take a.
I'm gonna get more into my ultramarine, and I'm just loading. I'm not really pulling this up into the ferrule. I'm keeping this all in a bead on the tip of my brush because I'm trying to keep the paint out of the metal part of this brush here. If it gets up into there too often, it damages the brush. Damages the brush.
Freckles, I could watch 24/7. We should just try to like.
You were told not to give any promises, Mr.
No,
Cooney.
we're not.
You were told.
I'm not promising anything. I'm just saying it'd be fun to postulate on the wonderful idea of putting the Sherpa up there 24/7. That'd be funny.
I think that because I have hypothyroidism.
You couldn't do it.
And it would be very interesting to see. I don't know. It would be a lot of 5-hour energy because you've been with me in the car when we're road tripping, and I have an off time.
So what this would actually be is this would be the Sherpa going really good at 8 a.m. and then till about 8 p.m. And then, they're starting to slow down. And then we get that 5-hour energy, that coffee going. And then she'd be back up
until about 1 in the morning.
About 1 in the morning. And then she'd be like, well, I can take this another 5-hour energy. And then she's good for about another 10 minutes. And then she's asleep, standing up.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, he's pretty much called that. I'm over to my burnt sienna now. And my brush was still dirty with the blue. And so I'm going to kind of work this collar in. This collar, I'm going to make it curly sheep's wool. It's not that in the reference photo, but I feel like it should be that. I feel like this guy has a wool-lined jacket, which is probably bad for the sheep, but this is what I feel is true, so it's what happens.
It's what happens.
I'm going to continue into my burnt sienna. I'm going to paint my little bit here where I'm like, oh, how did this work? Oh, yeah, from about here on is this. So basically what I'm doing is I'm sketching now in paint. I've sketched some lines in ahead of time, but now I'm going to sketch in paint. And I'm on the edge of my brush, and I'm using the thinner stroke that it has, which is why this being a quality brush, it really helps me. This is a quality brush, really, really helps me. Right? And then I'm gonna come over to this black a little bit and add a little black to the mix for up here. I also have today paint pens. I think that's how I'm going to get my guitar strings in and details, is maybe the paint pens. Those are, where did I put those? I'm going to be using this kind. Molotow. Not a sponsor, but I bought this on Amazon. So they can't stop me from saying it. Ha ha ha. Not that they would. I don't know why they would. I don't know. They would be like, don't talk about us. We are a secret company. They could, though. I don't know. I don't know them that well. I'm going to take a little of my ultramarine over to my black, and I'm going to make a little white. A bunch of people here, I imagine, are going to be online till late in the night, actually, I think. Because they're going to go from here to Angela Anderson and paint Big Ben and a red phone box. Some other stuff.
Cool.
But
Luna
now,
just came up and
isn't
visited
it
me.
funny that like on Valentine's Day, what we're painting is a guy walking alone? We're so Valentine's McScroogey Scrooge. Walk alone, dude. But there was a witch, Delilah wished that her son would get a wife. And then I added that, a girl she likes. Because I think that's important. Families should like each other. If that's at all possible, it helps the holidays if y'all like each other. Makes the holidays more interesting if you don't. I guess it's all a win. One is a dinner party conversation with your friends. You can't believe what happened to me over the holidays. Or there's just, I had a really nice holiday vacation. So see, I'm using this gray to block in this guitar. When I paint in the Union flag on the guitar, then I will put in the stripes and everything. But I just wanted to block some of that in with my detail brush. And I'm going to block in my railroad tracks, which is going to be a real thing. And I'm going to, let me look at how I'm doing that. I'm going to do that with a little of my ultramarine and burnt umber. I'm going to come here and I'm going to do an interesting thing. I'm going to make a very dark color, darker than the jacket or anything I've been painting. It's almost a chromatic black. And yes, I'm personally taking out all my little lines. It's because I'm really comfortable putting them back in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got my little...
But I just wanted to demo that perspective trick, because this is a little bit related to our 1-point perspective quest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go.
Right? It was really fun being on Facebook before YouTube today.
I thought that was a lot of fun, too. It gave me a chance to kind of make sure that everything was set up right and, other than...
much less breakage, too.
Much less.
Much less breakage. And I think that might be fun, because we can go Facebook and then YouTube, so we can get some sketching and some thinking and done, some designing and done, and then come here and, do our thing. What is everybody saying today? What is afoot with the community?
My gosh. So I keep having Luna come over here and give me little visits, so I was I turn my mic off here sometimes. So let's see here. Let me scroll back up because everyone was over here. They're all saying hello to everyone. There's a lot of new people out here joining us in chat. So I'd like to say hi. It's because I see Stephanie and Lynn and Katie and Denise. There's a lot of new people here, guys. Hi, how's it going? We have over 350 people joining us right now live here with us.
That is awesome.
And so, oh, my. Yes, they really liked seeing the Facebook Lives ahead of time where you were able to chat to sketch some of that stuff in. So that was really cool. Now, let's see here. Alan bought some paint pens, and he had some questions about them. I'm going to see if I can scroll.
I hope I have some answers.
He says, I bought some paint pens, which worked great the first time, and now when I press down to reload the paint goes everywhere. Is there something I should be doing differently?
Not that I'm aware of, Alan. I don't know why that problem would happen. Let me do some research as I sippy. I'm not going to Google it right now, but let me do some research, and I'm going to be at NAMTA, which is an art materials show here really soon, and I can actually ask the paint pen guys directly, and I will do that for you, Alan. I will ask the people that make the pens, what the heck? Why is your pen flooding your paper or your canvas? How's that sound? Does that seem good? It just seems good. I'll just go ask the guy that made the pen.
So we have a new
badge will be right there. Be like, hey.
I see a bunch of new faces out here, and it's great. I see and some of them I know. See, I see some new people here who I know are regular watchers, and because Marique is trying to find out if I can say his or her name, and I'm not sure because that is a complicated.
No, you can't.
But I'm gonna. That's my shot at that, Marique. I'm not sure how close I got, but. Thank you for watching, and I hope I got close because it's a pretty name.
It's a very pretty name. I'm gonna treat myself to the Grand Prix.
Oh, scroll up. And it's funny because I get a lot of I get a lot of people asking me to say their name, and I love that because we have people from all over the world, and oftentimes I get challenged with the multiple consonants.
Do you?
And that was a JK. Combo there.
I'm taking a little of this black. This is a good
Dutch
painting
name.
if you have bone black over Mars black to switch that out to, by the way.
And
I'm going to just kind of sketch in the values of the sky with this first layer of paint, and then I'll work the clouds and the light and everything. So in the center here, I'm using the Indian yellow and the black. You could use any yellow you wanted in the black. This is just what I'm choosing to use, and I'm making sure I'm scratching out my wishes so they will disappear. Not that I don't want everyone to get them, I do.
Jane has the hardest name because she keeps changing it.
Yes, is Jane here?
She is.
Hi, Jane. Oh my gosh, it's good to hear from Jane. Things are good. Been missing Jane. Oh my goodness.
So we have it's a painted.
Jane finished her pears. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad.
We have a lot of pear people with us today.
I know.
We have a lot of pear questions.
I'm just saying. A lot of people are like, I really didn't want to go to the second pears, and Jane was like, I will, and I was like, thank you, Jane. Oh, there's gonna be a message. Okay. I'm gonna pull a little more black in. I'm crazy today.
You are.
Because it's the Valentine's Day crazies.
Yes.
I'm going to just keep taking this darker over here. I want this to be darker. Right? Much, much darker than the outer values. Right? And even though the glaze is giving me kind of a transparent thing, it's just important that I'm running my value sets. Right? So I feel like the black I put out is not giving me enough coverage, babe. Can you grab me a different tube?
A tube of?
Just any tube of black.
Yes, I can.
I think I just grabbed an off-brand somebody. I will find out what that is and share that with you. But you can see I'm just, oh, you know what? It's okay. I've got this here. I've got the fluid.
Oh, here's some carbon black.
Yeah, just any black. I just need more pigment in my black. I told you I had these over here. I did. You can see why I would stay home for Valentine's Day. We're not fit for public and consumption. This is carbon black. Your Mars black should be like this. I'm just having kind of a day. And I just need a higher pigment load in my paint. See how that's just picking up more? And look. Oh, yeah. Happens to me.
Are you happy with that color?
I'm happy with it.
Oh, good.
Does it look just terrifying, too? It's like all dark and gray.
No.
I'm adding, when I need to get more water, sometimes to improve the fluidity, I just tip my brush in there and get a little of my stuff.
Oh, you know who what we needed to remember to thank everyone for? The wonderful Greek.
Oh my gosh, we had a Greek translation.
That's so fantastic.
We were translated, so we have a bunch of incredible community members that close caption videos. That's one of the fabulous ways that you can contribute to the channel is to close caption.
Yeah, we love.
And so we have an incredible team doing that. But somebody went in, once a video is closed captioned, I guess, in English, then it's available for foreign language translation.
Right, because because then there's they can go in and translate it from our English into their native language. So
in the time code.
Yeah, and it's all set in there, but that can't happen until you have it closed captioned in English.
So if you're really multilingual and you wanted to do something, that would be amazing. We were so excited to have it in Greek because I'm a big fan of the Greek wedding.
Yeah, it was
and
almost.
I was like, everything comes from the Greek.
And Cinnamon felt like that because she now has a video that is subtitled in Greek, that she gets to now be more connected to the movie.
I did. I was running around going, "It's Greek." Just quoting the movie all day. Had my little bottle of Windex out. It was a problem.
So
you can just see I'm just filling in this space, and this is a natural bristle brush. The issue with natural bristle brushes and acrylic paint in general is often the bristles will get too soft. Honestly, I don't think that Cambridge does this. I really just enjoy working with this brush. I have one of them. I would like 20, but I have one. They are very much lovely. Lovely, lovely brushes. But that's sometimes where the bristle test will fail you at the art store because they'll feel so stiff in the art store, and then you get them home and you're like, wait, what?
Right over there.
This is not as stiff as it feels, because once they get wet, those bristles soften up. But you can see in this case, it's not slowing me down at all. This is an incredibly nice brush, though, y'all. This is like saying, this Ferrari not be slowing me down. Right? So, stuff. And I just mostly bought it because it had a copper ferrule. Yeah. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. They definitely sold me on the looks. So I've got this kind of going here. I'm going to offload whatever pigment I have in these dark values into the sky because it can only build up my painting. So you can already see that it's blocking in really well. And now I'm starting to get this sort of interesting little painting going. I'm going to take my little black over to my brown now. Look at that. Ooh. I might even add a little blue into that. Or to my burnt umber. And I'm going to start blocking in the landscapies.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I was suddenly Ed Baxter. Ed Baxter. Sorry. Boy, if you don't watch a lot of cartoons, a lot of what I'm saying would make no sense. Okay, so I'm going to create this little hill shape here.
A hill shape?
I'm using the edge of my brush, and I'm not trying to, like, change the world. I'm just trying to say, hey, there's some natural types of bushes here, and here is their uneven shapes. A lot of this is very similar. What makes a good cloud, making a good bush. Mm-hmm. It feels like you're painting different things sometimes when you're painting a painting, but really you're just always painting value. I'm going to come around this guitar here very neatly. And remember, anytime acrylic paint is dry, you can paint over it. So I know this is a much more involved painting, but again, if you're brand new to painting, don't be like, oh, this looks hard, I can't do this. Sure, maybe not today, right? But eventually you could do it, right? Mm-hmm. You just need a little practice. I'm grabbing a little white and adding it into that mixture there. And you can see, look how much that changes it up, that blue and white. Look at that, that's crazy, right?
Now,
totally different value. I'm having a blast.
You get this question a lot.
I do, and I want to answer it then.
Okay. Is there a particular reason why you painted the guy in before painting the background on this image?
And it's so funny. Then sometimes people are like, why'd you paint the background in before painting the guy?
So
here's the real truth about this on painting. Laying in a painting, right? Sometimes you'll put a background in before you put a central figure in because the flow of the background would be disrupted by you stopping in to paint the figure. Sometimes painting the figure helps you anchor the whole piece and allows you to create a pieced in underpainting. In this particular piece, because it was so overtly complicated and because I wanted to be able to create a traceable for you guys and something that you could sketchable in, I did him in first.
Gotcha.
But there really isn't a totally perfect, correct answer for that. It's always about, I added some more white to this so I could put this over here.
Grade it up a little bit.
Well, yeah, it just needs to be a different value. I'm just trying to, right now, sketch in values. That's all I'm doing is giving it some value. Teach this canvas some values so that it doesn't mess with us. You see how it's lighter right here? A little bit. Still pretty dark.
Ooh, so I have to wonder where
and I love this brush. Look how I'm scrumbling this little... Abusive! Sorry. It's fine. It's all good. Don't pay attention to the woman losing her mind while painting.
Oh, I'm just fascinated by who else joining us here today. We got
Who's
so
all here? I'm going to flip this over so I can get to between his legs and all of that. Not to sound, like I'm intruding on him, but I'm going to have to frisk him here.
Is it painted in there?
I gotta get personal with him in this. It's personal now.
But we have people from all over the world. Alabama.
Alabama.
I saw UK and England, and I saw this was very interesting. Someone had another one of those names that I really.
I'm gonna rinse this brush out.
Of course, have no hope, but it starts with VL. So of course that's such an interesting combination. I want to try it. So
yeah.
Vlinder.
Go for it, man. I just took some black, a little of my blue, and a little of my brown. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to just put some distant little, these are distant little trees. I'm using the corner of my brush. I'm sort of just dabbing, right? And I'm just trying to create this line. When I'm painting this stuff in, what I'm looking for is the top of this tree line. And I don't want it to be, I'll do it wrong here. I don't want it to be this, where it's like repeat. Actually, I'm still doing it too right. Don't make little zigzags. Don't make little zigzags. You want to, you want to say, hey, these are trees.
And they want to say hi from Scotland and Missouri.
Hi from Scotland.
And Florida and San Diego.
Hello from San Diego. Be my old stomping grounds.
Lots of folks from Canada.
And we had time in Canada.
Right here in Freeport, Texas. New Mexico.
Oh.
Brooklyn, New York. Oh, hey, Brooklyn.
That's exciting. I'm just putting this all in right now. Just saying, all right, we got these dark little trees here. And then what do we have going on? We have a lighter. This is crazy. I'm going to come over into this, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to add a little white into it and a little more black. But we have this lighter hill that's happening kind of here.
Ah. So, Vlindertje, his name means butterfly in Dutch.
Really?
So it was that's really interesting.
By the way, the idea that is it in Deutschland that they have the pony park? Where the heck is that pony park?
That was in Sweden, I thought. No, it was
I think it's the Dutch.
May have been. Oh, it was in Amsterdam. You're right. You're right. It was the Dutch.
Pony park is the best
That's right.
idea. I love my country. But pony park is the best idea
That's right.
anybody ever had, and I have so much envy over pony park. And I want to live at pony park, and I want to never go home from pony park, and I want to grab all the ponies' noses and smell their little pony noses, and I want to brush the little ponies' cells, and I want to live. Kids will think we're going for them, but we're not. We're going to go to pony park so Mom can just roll in ponies. Ponies. Sorry. So we have a little hill there, and we just used a lighter value. So see, we have the darker value, the lighter value helps create our little hill, right? And get a little of this color, right? So if I just come over with this mixture, it's all pretty dirty, but add a little blue to it. It's all fairly questionable. And let's put some rocks in.
Some rocks.
Let's
because this guy's rocking it.
Yeah, he's.
Or is he on the rocks?
He's on the rocks. I'm going to give him some rock values here. These will be defined in more later, right? Because then I've got to come in with pretty dark value around all of that, which will be black and brown again. Look at me go. because I'm just trying to create these little values, these fields of space. I'm going to do a little tree up here, but I got to get the clouds in before I can put the tree in. Because anything, so how you figure out when you're painting something in a painting, how you layer it, is generally that what's furthest away, and then you layer, layer, layer. Sometimes you got to have your guide put in so you have space and placement and track relationships, but you're still going to have to think about, I can't really paint this tree until I get the sky in.
I see.
Effectively. Could do anything in art. It's not really like there's a lot of rules.
It sometimes seems like it is, though.
There's a lot of guidelines. There's a lot of advice. So different things are successful, and artists will share with you what's successful for them. Sometimes they tend to speak a little dismissively and absolutist about process. Just because it hasn't worked for them, they'll, be like, oh no, that's terrible to do. But nothing is really terrible in art. It just has a result, and you either like the result or you don't like the result. It's really all it is. So I really question when artists are really dismissive of other artists, because it's just all process.
Oh yeah,
And we can just give you our best advice as we can. This is a much darker value, and see, I'm just working it in here. I think what I would really love everyone to see is look how not worried about the shapes of things I am. I'm going to come back and add some of this. So I'm just sort of just enjoying putting this stuff up here, right? I love doing this little trees. They push this little brush in. It's super fun. I gotta rinse it out because I'm gonna paint a lot of this painting with this brush. This brush is making me super happy today. It's giving me life. You were gonna ask a question?
Oh yeah. No, so let me scroll back over there because it was. That's what it was. So Mevro says, and I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Says that Pony Park is in Slaugheren, Holland. Slaugheren?
Yeah, I would never find it.
That's where it was.
Well, you're going to have to take me there. I'm never going to be able to explain that to a cab driver. And except I'd be just like some crazy American going, Pony Park. Take me to the Pony Park.
They would probably know where you're going.
Everybody else wants to go to Amsterdam for that other reason. I'm like, Pony Park. Hi, Spider. Oh, hello. How you doing? No. Well, come get a hug. Come get a hug. To walk home from a house away is an incredibly troubling thing. All right, up front. It's not even.
It's like, I didn't want to walk home with the bus stop.
It's like a house away, John.
I know.
So I'm scrambling this around. Children, aren't they fun? We should all have some. All right, so I am pushing this all in.
Wrong button. No, just wrong button. There we go.
Okay. Now I'm going to rinse out my brush. I still don't need to get new water yet. Oh, no.
So this is
working from home. All right, so I'm going to dry off my brush, and I'm going to start putting some clouds and values here so that when I go in to put that really dramatic scape, that it's really there for me and I can really enjoy that. And the first thing I'm going to start working in is maybe some lighter values in my clouds, which is this yellow. I don't mind if it's a little dirty with this mixture here, because I do want it to be muted enough to feel like it's part of the world it was, in. And I'm going to start by saying, oh, there's some very important highlights happening here, right? And there's some other very important highlights that are kind of coming through here. And that's really fun. You're like, where's the light peeking in at? Well, from the top here, right? That's where we want light. That's where we want that. I'm going to start working in a little white on my brush, some different sort of cloud values. I'm not using a round brush this time. I'm just creating these irregular cloud shapes, right, with scruffiness in my brush. Different way of doing it. Different way of doing it is okay. I'm just gonna, as I'm going and doing the sky, I'll just keep adding in highlights and events. I'm going to scrumble this in. Say there's a little bit of highlight here. And you can see how the layering and the paint showing through works for me. Right? blue just works for me.
Yeah.
Just pushing that in. These irregular shapes, I'm like right here in the middle, and I'm pushing this over to the side, and it's tapering, and I'm using my reference to be like, how can I, you know, maybe tell a story that's got some light and some drama in it, but get some of this drama right there, some of this Indian yellow, and add that. See how that's nice? I'm going to enjoy my time painting today. I have had a week, so y'all are kind of kidnapped into my own art therapy today. You thought you would come for...
So we're definitely live today, though.
Yeah, we're live, and that's happening. We're live. There's no edit button.
So,
somehow I cannot pull myself together to create this piece. You'll be there with me, but actually I think by the time this is done, this is going to be one of my favorite pieces that I've done.
No, I'm gonna look over
and hopefully many of you will join me on this like you did for Galactic Eagle. See, I'm just coming along here, and then I'll jump up and add this little thing here, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering if my camera's picking up more green than it should be.
Yeah, your camera's way more green. It should not be even a little
these
green.
Yellows are so hard here. I'm gonna see. So, see, like in this camera,
There's
it doesn't
no
look
green, y'all.
It's like, why is it kind of?
Do you need to adjust it?
I'm gonna see if I can, because this
I
camera
don't
looks
mind.
really
I
green.
could have a little coffee before my next value. Also, I'd like them to see that this is much more yellowish brown. This should feel like a sky of amber more than anything else, right? It should feel like amber. I'm going to get a lot of white on this one and come here and...
So what I think the problem is the color. That we're in a tough place with this color yellow, and my lights is ultimately the issue, and that camera just doesn't.
Well, we'll post a finished photograph of this.
Yeah, if you look over at this other camera, because I think I can do a better job on this one.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So this
that
camera
is what's actually afoot. Now I'm going to
Yeah.
get a smaller brush, but I'm going to keep it in the bristles. I'm going to get a number 6
Yeah, and I just
bright. And yes, if y'all might have noticed, I like a bright. You are correct. I do. I like a bright. I'm
Yeah,
going to get a little
sorry.
black and a little of this yellow. And I'm going to create these dark values in the clouds.
Yeah, it's definitely not supposed to be that green, guys. And that's just a combination of the lights on my camera. I'm gonna do what I can here to see if I can fix that, but that's just a problem, and I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm gonna be working this dark shape over here, so I've got to start pulling this dark value. There's a Rococo kind of lighting. There's Broke kind of lighting. Sorry, Broke, and that just means I'm gonna have a focus of light coming through essentially on the figure. And so a lot of that's gonna be about paying attention to my reference, you know. And making sure I have that worked out over here. Like you do. Like you do.
Oh, let's see if I can help a little bit there. That's a little bit better.
Add a little, and this can have a little light in it. The other thing that can happen too is as you're putting in these shadows, don't ever be afraid of the shadows. I think sometimes as artists, we get afraid of these very big dark shapes. And one thing that you can do is if you're having trouble tracking like the shape, you can even sketch it in or do its outline, do its contour, right? So if it's giving you trouble how this cloud shape is or the nebula shape is or any of it, do its contour. Don't try to, take it in as a whole, piece it down into something that you feel like you can get a handle on. And then just find the contour next to it. I'm going to scrumble this in. And I don't mind that there's a glazing effect and this kind of, some of it shows, out elsewhere. That's okay for me. Completely. So once I have that contour in, then I'm going to work this contour. Just working my clouds in. And then I do see another little dark shape in here. So the light over here is sort of peeking through. We've got to leave it where it's peeking out because this is a very, very rainy, intense sky. My next big dark value is over here. So I can go find that over there. What will happen next? Who knows? So I'm going to pay attention to that contour shape, right? How does this contour shape go? Sometimes in clouds, that's all it takes to get around it, because your mind's representation of a cloud being a little fluffy round thing will mess you up and make it so it's almost like you can't see the shapes that the clouds are actually giving you, if that makes sense. I'm adding a little glazing liquid to this, and I'm just going to scrumble this in.
They like that. They like when you use that word, scrumble.
Scumble, sorry.
Well, no,
I
no.
say
Everyone
scrumble,
thinks it's funny when you use scrumble, because they think that that's a good brush word.
It
scrumble.
is, and I'm not technically really scumbling. I'm sort of scrumbling. So let's say it's the cousin of a scumble.
It's like the dance move.
Yeah.
It's a dance move version of the scumble.
This particular type of scruffy, scratchy little brush thing works better with the bristle than a synthetic filament, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, it just does. Right? So I'm just putting that there. So I've got that little shape there. I can go more into my brown here. I've got the other mixture on there, but, you know, and then I'm going to kind of brush this down. It's a glaze. I'm brushing back and forth. The trick to this is the glazing, right, which just means the pigment's going down in a very translucent way, and the fact that the brush directionality is the direction of the rain, if y'all can see that. If I need to reinforce my plants, I will when I come back. I just need to know where they were and what the heck we were doing with them.
Gotcha.
That's all I need to know. So I'm just back into my yellow and my black.
Now, could you give me the difference there between scumbling and scrumbling?
Well, scrumbling is a thing that I use to describe my scratching around like a crazy person, and scumbling is a kind of circular dry brush motion. It's usually specifically very dry brush, and it's about leaving a little top of paint over the canvas that's very lightly dispersed, which is not exactly what I'm doing. I like to say it's scumbling adjacent. I'm going to make a little shape here in a cloud. Following that along, what I see there. All right, that's what we're doing. Just brush that in. The shadows of clouds are sometimes more important than the highlights.
Why is that?
Because that's what tells you the shape of something, or tells you that something is the shadow. So a lot of times when you're painting and it just isn't looking like what you're trying to make it look like, what's happened is that you've got the shadow wrong, not the highlight.
Interesting. Huh.
Now, I'm painting into his head, but I'm going to paint his whole head back, so I'm not that worried about it. So see how we're starting to get a sky that's pretty moody.
Yeah.
It's a pretty moody sky. And it may start getting darker as it goes down towards this horizon line too. And it might even pick up a little more of this brown in there. We'll see how that goes. And that's going to be about building these little kind of clouds and things that are afoot here. And remember, I'm going to be coming back with color and creating this kind of lightning over here at some point. So that's going to be interesting how I do that. Or maybe it'll be over here. I haven't decided.
You have not?
No.
How could you have not decided?
I have to see how everything lays in to see what space feels significantly empty. Right?
Oh.
To everything else. Now that I've got the shadows in a way that I feel like I like them.
I like. Yeah.
Right? And now we're getting kind of a sky happening here. I'm going to start really getting some highlights. So I'm going to rinse out my brush. I'm going to take a smidge of my yellow into my white. So you see I'm getting quite a bright color. And I'm going to, along some of these spaces, create this sort of highlight. Painting along there. See? Not a problem. And there's a bunch of these. They're creating these highlights into these shapes, right? Look at this little highlights into these shapes.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we're starting to, it looks messy, but as it comes together, it really starts to help this
It really does.
become its thing.
And as you sort of back away from it, you can really see how the clouds form together, and
Yeah,
that's
they
really
start
cool.
to become, what they are.
You have more hellos coming from around the world. Some
More
weird
hellos from around the world. That's always pretty
Caribbean
exciting.
and Quebec, Canada. I think
A little of
I
this
saw
right
from
here. I feel like
Africa
there's like
and
a little-
Norway, Texas, Sweden.
Once I have that in, right, this kind of crazy space in, where I'm pretty happy with how it looks, right? Because that's the other thing is I've got to be kind of happy with. Gonna add this brighter little. When I'm pretty happy with how it's looking, how it's clouding up, and you can work on this for days. Honestly, they're better than abstracts, better than anything. Just work on them and think about them and be like, what's happening here? I'm going to start creating this sort of light coming down space.
Okay. What is that light coming down space? Ooh, Peru. Hey.
Peru. Hey, Peru.
Hey, Peru.
So I'm wanting to create some light coming down. I'm going to do that with this brush. I'm going to make sure it's fairly dry.
I feel like I'm vicariously visiting them.
And I am pulling down. This is going to feel like light and rain by the time we are done. See?
That's really cool. Gives it that streaky sky, like it's
Yeah.
raining.
Now I may have to go back and paint some of the landscape hard against this streak.
Ooh.
But right now what I'm trying to do is create a streak of this light that is happening. Because it's happening, isn't it? I'm going to get just my glazing liquid and I'm going to come and add some of this just in. Look at that. Just adding that light coming down. See, this is his call, the wild. He didn't write a book about it or go on Oprah, but,
Huh.
he walked some tracks. He also did not throw his shoe. He didn't throw his one good shoe. Which John is still going to get over till the end of time.
Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. If you're like hiking in the woods, don't throw your good shoe.
You got one good
You
one,
got
you're
one
still
good
doing
shoe.
better.
It's half the battle's over there. You got one good shoe in the woods.
So once I have that,
So
I
much
can
better
come
than-
back later and create the rain and the rain effect on him, but I need to have more of the stuff in because the rain effect would actually be layered over the tree and different things. And so it's actually going to come pull forward. But do we like the light?
Mm-hmm.
Are we kind of tripped out how we made those rays of
cool.
light?
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy with it, so I'm going to call that good.
I like them.
I'm going to get this black and yellow going again. Maybe a little of this burnt. And come back here where I might have lost a little of my distant trees. That's okay, because I can put those back, see? See? I'm Bugsy when I paint, see? These are very distant trees. They don't have to be that well defined. Right? They can be a little blurry, and that's why the glazing is nice. Because it creates a sense of these things being far away, and then things that are in focus are up closer. That's called atmospheric perspective. And we like that in painting quite a lot. It's fun.
Ooh, atmospheric perspective. That's a
Atmospheric
cool.
perspective,
you've
folks.
never
It's
used
a lot
that
of fun. You know why my coffee's still hot?
Because Alan sent you a coffee warmer.
Because Alan sent me a coffee warmer.
Thank you, Alan. She's using your coffee warmer. It's over there. She just point just right off the screen.
How is
there.
everybody doing? This is quite a painting, I know.
This is quite a painting. It's been really great. We have lots of folks. They've been sharing from all over the world that they've been here. I saw
This is not
Portugal and
clickbait. You can
Peru.
skip ahead to the end of the video and you're going to see like a amazing painting. I'm not one of those artists. I don't do that.
So this is pretty cool. There's so many folks here. We got over 330 people here right now hanging out, painting.
You guys
with
are
us.
ready to paint. I'm
are-
with you. Why sit in line at a restaurant? That is crazy.
They're having a good time just hanging out.
Now I'm going to get a little bananas here. I'm going to go into my CAD yellow, which you can see is a completely different profile. Maybe into my burnt sienna. I'm still going to grate with a little bit of black, though.
Hey, are you
But
sure?
I want it to feel a little bit different than the other yellow.
Now this is, even though this could look intimidating, this is really just a 3 hoot because it's about the layers, right?
Oh, this is just a 3 hoot. If you've been painting with me for a while and you've done any of our landscapes, you're good. Right? You're totally, totally good. I'm going to just start putting on this landscape. Look at that go. Oh, it's so fun to make landscapes. It's so fun to paint the landscape. And so what I love to do is have just, oh, I don't know where I'm going. Oh, I'm going to grow up, but no, I'm going to come down. That's fun for me. I have little stories about hills and things in my head. I just scrumble this around. And that's really fun to me, is just show you how loose and just like crazy you can be. You can be a crazy person. And that's okay. That's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's all right. I might get a little of this
And we have
burnt
Mona's
into this
joined
mixture.
us
And you
here
see how it
today.
starts to create a gray for me? So I can come along these tracks and no. Have a little gray.
So Mona just joined us here in chat today.
Who did?
Mona.
Hi, Mona. We did a wish for you,
Got a
but it's
wish in
on
there.
Facebook. So that's where that is. I'm going to get some of my darker color.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to also mix my colors because I don't know if I'm using my green today or my purple.
Now, this is a collaboration we're doing today, right?
Yes, with Angela Anderson.
All right.
She's doing her own more complicated painting. We're trying to, we've done a bunch of really simple ones, and now we're giving you guys something a little more challenged to paint. So I'm just pressing this brush in. You see I'm tapping this brush in. Just tapping and scrumbling it in, tapping it in. I might get a little of my ultramarine back over into... This is almost a value study, this landscape, which is what was interesting to me because the guitar would then be so bright. I'm pressing in this depth into this landscape that's back here. And then I'm going to come in with some highlights. Yeah, that's nice. I'm just pressing that brush in. I definitely want some kind of stuff afoot here.
Now, if I was
just dabbing this. This is on the edge of the bristles and pushing up.
if you have to, the camera to your left is just off. Boom! You nailed it.
Thank you.
So, and if you want to catch up with our calendar, we keep that. Actually, Lisa, Flame Gremlin, our community manager, does a fantastic job of keeping the calendar out there on the site up to date, so that you can go out to the Sherpa, TheArtSherpa.com. and find out where our calendar is. You can find all links to our traceables. You can find links to all of our a bunch of stuff out there. So
I think so.
Yeah, there's our chat, and there you can find the forums where you can add in wishes. All sorts of fun stuff out there.
I'm just adding a little highlight into some of the closer up little flora and fauna that I've got here. So it's just, when you get away from it, it starts to create stuff. My other way I like to do is I like to press in and drag up. Isn't that interesting?
It is.
I really like that because it creates a soft value. Sometimes that's incredibly helpful. I'm going to come add a little of a lighter spot right here. All right, a little lighter spot right here where the sand is. Maybe a little bit through the legs, but I want that to go darker. I think that value needs to be deep and dark and mysterious. I'm trying to be funny, I'm just saying. So I'm going to get busy with him again here. So that he's popping out. Well, like you do. And then while I've got this dark value, you can come and add some of this in this like little sort of scumbling back and forth. Just enjoying this. Look at that little wiggle back and forth. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Having a good time. You can do this. Paintings are really just about knowing the techniques. Knowing that, when you look at it up close, one of the best things about our up close cam to our far away cam is that you begin to see how distance from a painting affects the way the painting feels is resolved or unresolved. It's why artists back away from work.
And we can do that, because we can go over to the RoboCam and...
I'm going to add a little of my ultramarine blue to my burnt sienna. You ready for that? Probably
Yeah.
not. It's crazy.
But even as we pull away from here, I can back out rather quickly, and you can really see the difference.
Yeah.
As it comes out here.
So I'm just creating this sort of little value of bushes and things that are here. And I really like that. And I can get white on my brush. And then by picking up the top of the bush line, much like once my values were dark and defined the clouds, this begins to define this up closer bush line. Can we see that happening?
I think so.
And that's a really nice feeling. Just paying attention to what we're excited about. Now I'm going to add a little smidge of green. I'm going to take a little of my ultramarine into my phthalo blue and still get it into my burnt sienna. I'm going to see how I feel about just creating a very muted green value here, kind of coming up around here for these up close sort of little desert along the track plants. And then over here I think I'm going to push a little bit of this color, and I don't really necessarily need it. I'm just experimenting with it, this green around this space, to say that this is that deep. So you know how drought resistant plants are more of a gray green? So the sky has desaturated the color, and we've desaturated the color. We've created this bright, almost irradiated light that we're quite fond of. We're going to definitely keep working this ultramarine blue and this black, which I really love. I'm going to put this here because this is going to be kind of in shadow. I'm going to even come under these rocks. Add this shadow. See that shadow happening under those rocks?
Mm-hmm.
Just let this is, we don't know what's happening here. This is going to be kind of covered by a tree. Fun stuff. Just relax about things. One of the things that's really hard for artists is they get what's called tight.
What does that mean?
And that's when they're trying to achieve realism. And that can be wonderful, but it can be a real challenge to keep your paintings loose and playful when you're being hyper-realistic. I've added a little burnt and quite a lot of white, and I'm getting this gray color. I'm going to start making my rocks feel a little more like rocks.
How do you make a rock feel more like a rock?
It should be scratchy. It should have uneven surface. It should have clear values of highlight and shadow. Right? So if I take my umber and my ultramarine over.
Mona thinks this is a wonderful painting you're doing.
Who does?
Mona.
Mona, really?
Yeah.
I love when Mona likes the artwork.
Huh.
So, with YouTube, it's like a constant thing. We like to make sure we're creating projects that are exciting and new and different, and maybe not everywhere else. All right, see, I'm just rubbing that bottom of the rock. All right. Now I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to add a little yellow to my brush. Wow, I haven't even rinsed it in a while. Look how very rarely I rinse my brush.
Now, Barbara was asking, have you ever used a blade brush?
Yes.
Or a sword brush? Is that what they're also called, a sword brush?
I even have some.
And what are those used for? I know they're used for pinstriping in the automotive world.
Yeah, and just controlled lines with curves, and they can be used for, grass and different natural applications.
I guess that's true. You can make little long, thin lines with control.
Sure. I'm going to add a little brown to this. I want my rocks to feel a little rocky. My pressure here is very light, and I'm just trying to create some character.
So is this light rock pressure?
This is light rock pressure.
Light rock pressure.
Rocks are made from very light pressure. Don't kid yourself. I'm going to come get my black again on my brush. And I'm still going to come in a little further and define that shadow.
If you could lean just to the oh, perfect. Just how we
Does
get
that help you?
It does. I'm sorry. What I need to do is come bump the camera over here in a second, and then we'll do that here. Next time you're taking a sippy, I'll just swing it
That's
around.
cool.
No, I can just move them around here for a second.
No, I know you can't. So I'm just trying to create, see how that value helps them pull forward?
Yeah.
I'm going to wipe off my brush or offload, get some white, but because my brush is so dirty, it will never be white.
Ooh.
And just at the top of the rock, pop this highlight.
The top of the rock?
At the top of the rock, because here's the light. So what could be catching it? What would be the most reflected place? Would be the forward-facing part of the rock, right? See? Now we have these really lovely rocks. Now I've got to deal with some train tracks, which are kind of a pain, but I feel like I want some more stuff happening with my sand. So I'm going to add just a little more highlight. See that? It's very dry though. And where I have this sort of green, right? Maybe I'll load that onto my brush. My brush is so dirty, but I don't care. I'm disrespectful like that. I'm just getting this gray green. I'm going to get a little highlight into this. This is going to, taking it over to this yellow. This yellow is in painting sometimes what we call a mother color.
What does that mean there?
That means that you have a particular color. Here's a, this cord is under my feet constantly. There's a particular color that is unifying through the whole painting. Sometimes I use phthalo blue and burnt sienna. There's just a color I use again and again and again and again and again. And then all of a sudden you have something that doesn't have any of that color in it, like say the guitar. It's going to create an incredible unifying process, and then wherever you don't use that color, it pops that object and it makes it pop out. Does that make sense? So hot in the studio today. I'm drinking coffee.
You're drinking coffee in your not paint water cup. You want to show them off your awesome cup?
This says not paint water, paint water.
Interesting.
Not paint water, paint water.
And you could,
my face.
and if you want to find one of those for yourself, you can find it at TheArtSherpa.com.
I'm wearing my Angelooney shirt too.
Oh yeah, you are. That's other
If you're
swag.
a big Angelooney fan,
Yeah.
I know we look like a Peppermint Patty. What was her name?
I don't know.
Chuck Carson did this awesome art, and
Yep.
you can see he was really, really influenced by the Peanuts. Also, Angela's taller than me.
Which is, there's so many things that were funny
About that, she was so good-natured about
but
it.
you can find more of these shenanigans at shop.theartsherpa.com.
So many.
And we have a lot more stuff that we're going to be we'll be doing there. And if you go to theartsherpa.com, you can find out where all of our chats are and the forums are and stuff like that. So you know about that. You've been here.
Do you know about it?
They know
I don't
about
know about it.
They know.
I'm going to get some black paint and a little brown paint. And I'm going to make sure that there's an element of this hell and pull some shadow out here.
Is there an element of danger?
An element of danger. You know what else I'm going to do?
No.
I'm going to take my very dirty, misbehaved brush.
Okay.
I don't know what is up. I don't know why I'm like man of mystery today.
I think it's tired.
Huh?
I think it's the lack of sleep.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm going to make a tree.
It looks more like sunbeams than rain, is what Lady Whitefang says.
No, right now it is sunbeams. We haven't put the rain in.
Oh.
The rain has not happened yet. It hasn't started to rain. So if you've known me a very long time, and now if you watch me on YouTube, you know this, but before this, if you knew me for a very long time, you would know that my favorite graphic novel is The Crow. Not the movie, which I did also like, but the graphic novel.
Yeah.
And so one of my very favorite sayings is, and probably why you see a lot of rain subject matter from me, is that it can't rain all the time, which is the idea that life can be really challenging. It just can't do one thing all the time.
Yeah.
It's going to have to pick some other options on occasion. How it messes with you or how it impacts you. So the tree here, in case you've just said, I don't care, I haven't painted before, I'm going to do this painting, should be wider at the base and taper as it goes out in branches.
So Cheeky says, completely love your work. Thank you so much. It's gotten her through the recovery of surgeries, and you meant so much. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, too.
And we are double Sherpa, apparently. I just
Are
looked
we
over.
double
We're
Sherpa?
totally double Sherpa. We've been
For
apparently
some
double.
reason, we do callbacks to Sparta because
I-
we just think we're. You know what it is? Because we're the little channel that could.
You know what?
That
though?
everybody said we couldn't, and we're like, we can stand here and hold this space with 300.
I tell you what, we get 300 Sherpettes brandishing brushes. That would be, I would take 300 Sherpettes over, 300 any other.
I'll take a Sherpa over any other anything.
Yeah.
Best community in the world. Who's been calm during all this craziness? The Sherpettes. Who's kept their social media feeds super positive? The Sherpettes.
That's right.
They have just been like, you know what, universe? I'm going to rain sunbeam and rainbows on you.
One Sherpette is worth 10 others.
Seriously, I'm starting to think so. So I've got this sort of little tree that I'm putting in that I'm thinking about. Trees are really fun because they can add an extra level of interest to your piece. Right? And I'm just doing this brush right now to just sort of put in these branches and figure out what's happening with this bad boy. Right? Like you do. Like you do. You do that with trees on occasion. Did you know? You may not have known. And this one, have you ever seen this thing where there's another tree that comes out from the base? We're doing that right now. Why are we doing that? Because I feel it. And sometimes you'll feel things in a painting. Listen to yourself. What are we doing? Are we doing that because it's Valentine's Day and you love me? Or just because you thought it'd be fun?
I'll be right back.
I'm just going to keep painting, and you call me if you need me, babe. It's terrible. Okay. So we're just going to keep painting. I'm getting a little more of my burnt sienna. My husband will call for me. And if we need be, we will just stop and start again later. Because life is like that. Life is definitely like that. Just going to do that. I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush. I'm going to get this number 4 braid out. I'm going to keep working my little branches because I want wonderful little branches. I like them and I want them, and so we're going to have them. And I'm going to use the sharpness of this brush to create more detail. It's happening out in the sky. See how that's helping? A little black over here. And just keep working the... We're okay? To explain, our son generally comes and gets us if anything really serious has happened, but Luna has decided that everybody is always in imminent danger. Okay. What are we doing? All right. I gotta see how, it's good actually, I get to see the painting, see how it's coming. Keep working it. I gotta keep working it like you do. Now I got this dark color, I'm gonna come back and add that sort of in here.
Now I'll get back on here. Oh, see, now all of a sudden we have a better angle. Look, all that took was that. All it took was that. Sorry.
Sometimes I'll do that.
There we go. So sorry about that. We had multiple things I had to pay attention to. Children. Now I'm back on here. Had children who needed some attention, and we had buttons that were in the wrong place. And sorry about all that.
So much stuff happening.
I'm
gonna pull out a little of my yellow. We a team. Team Cooney deploy. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the highlight of this to some of these branches. So that they feel like they exist in this world. So we've got this sort of tree. If you watch Supernatural, you've got to feel like I'm doing a crossroad right now.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it is. I'm going to come on the inside of this. Maybe even just scratch and pull over a little lightly into this trunk. This little space. Could bring this on up here and just say, oh, hey. Isn't that nice, that highlight? Those little highlights that pop on a tree trunk are really helpful when you're trying to do dark paintings, where the painting itself is quite dark. I really sometimes like to do dark paintings, not all the time. Maybe dark in nature, but not. I tend to go a little colorful.
Now, what kind of brush are you using there?
I'm switched to a number 4 silver bristle on. Has a very sharp edge.
You
And
keep moving around. I can't see what you're doing.
oh, okay. I'm reloading and then I'll show you again.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
And I love it.
And you can find those if you go to the Brush Guys.
The brush guys should have them, and if you use the coupon TheArtSherpa,
Yep.
you get 5% off your total order.
Oh, that's cool.
And the coupons do work everywhere. You just have to enter your state.
Ah.
So if you ever have any trouble with them, you can always email, and they are really good about getting back.
Yeah, Jeff and Dave are really good guys.
Yeah.
We like them a lot. So
I'm just dry brushing this and
Any
giving this some
questions,
highlight and creating this. Now I'm going to create some more. I'm going to gray this out a little bit because it's just way too bright. And maybe get a little burnt sienna into it. Get into this white until I get to a color space that I'm happy. Uh-oh. Got into some black. Wipe off if ever that happens to you. You're like, why am I here? Exit out, man. Retreat. And I'm going to just add some of this right here. Right. Got some grasses happening, don't I? Just layering that up. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm thinking we'll do a lightning strike over here just to be balanced. So this crazy thing will have this crazy thing. And then we'll do the rain after we paint him in. I know we're going, but we still got to do tracks.
Yep. And
Tracks
the guitar.
are fun. Tracks what?
And the guitar.
And the guitar. Which I actually have a good trick for the guitar.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to decide how I want to do the tracks. And so I'm going to pull out the burnt sienna. I'm actually going to grab a little of my phthalo blue, which I had put out actually for my lightning, believe it or not. Because I like phthalo blue for lightning. And I'm going to be working the tracks probably in a variation of those two colors. Like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do. And I need to make the tracks that are coming back. So I'm going to follow that line. And it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch thick. Coming around. And an interesting thing is I'll be putting it back in a minute after I put the other tracks in. But I've got to put the cross beams in. I gotta put the cross beams in. I even add a little bit of yellow to this. And I'm just trying to get a value that's a little bit lighter. And my first cross beam is going to come across here. And I'm actually going to cross over. Now, like I mentioned early, and it has to go a little bit past the track. See? Then I'm going to give it a little space. About the same width. And I'm going to plant another little cross beam. Fun stuff. That's doing that. You're going to have to reload often, I feel, for this, but you know. Each, as they get a little further away from being close to us, they're going to appear closer together. And that is how you start to create the perspective of the tracks that are diminishing. Right? That's how you start to create that illusion.
Judith was asking what time zone we're in. We're in Central Time Zone.
So I'm going to just do this here. And I'm going to come back, right, with a low, with a low light, with a dark color. I'm going to get right into my black. Right into my black. And make sure that I create a shadow value between the tracks.
Oh, yeah, it pops that up quite a bit.
It does, right? Like it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. It's okay, it's okay, we're okay.
So interesting, even though the railroad ties are kind of loose, by adding that little contrasting bit, that really
helps them start to be real.
Yeah.
Back into, wipe off, and back into the brown you go. Back into the brown.
The brown.
I'm going to get a little more white on this one.
There are several central time zones in the world.
Oh, Central Standard Time.
Central Standard. Yeah, I'm
CST.
sure. You know, that's probably very U.S. centric. So
I just use the world clock, man. I don't know anything the world clock doesn't tell me. I just go to that website and I say, what time is it right now in Australia? And then it tells me, or what time is it right now here?
I know that. I think we're either +6 or 7 off of Greenwich Mean Time. So yeah, somewhere in there, 6, 7 off. I'm not sure.
I assume the scientists don't care about the petty problems of the world. They just care about the truth. I could be totally wrong. I mean, I don't know them.
We need more.
I just assume like the world clock people like have good intentions. Now I've taken a little black. I'm gonna come here and just make sure that I add that shadow. Well, maybe a little bit coming off the railroad track, showing that these are exiting here. Right. And one thing I want to do, because like on the original sketch he was crossing over, I'm gonna probably move a bush or something, you know, here. I'm not really sure. Something to sort of make that less annoying, but we'll see. I'm going to get...
Put a plant there. Just
something, man.
Some landscaping.
A little highlight. And once I have a little highlight... Well, and they've got to gray out. I've got to actually gray these out back here. Right? So I've got to come with like this color here, this gray color, and glaze. And to knock these back, right, I've got to kind of gray them out so that they look distant and See? Push them back, push them back. Push them back.
Push them back.
Push them back.
Why are we whispering?
I don't know. We don't want anyone to know what we're doing.
It's a secret. Don't. Shh, don't tell the bushes.
Don't tell them.
We're sneaking up on them.
One nice thing about it being rainy is you can create fog, by the way, a whole bunch of places that it's believable. Stuff is irritating you. You can fog it up.
Just some fog.
Hi, buddy.
Some art fog.
Yeah. So I'm going to get my yellow onto my brush.
You keep
I'm going to get some yellow and some stuff, and I'm going to come and I'm going to make a little... I'm sorry, I just want the tracks to look a little better. Just age them up.
I'm with Sharon. I barely know what time it is in the time zone I'm in. How am I going to keep track of what other people's time zones are?
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm going to add a little yellow to the center of the tracks here. Like the light that's shining down has hit them. This is a bit Dorothy, I know, but what are you going to do? You got to paint your heart. So I've got a jacket now. That needs to be a bit darker and have highlights. I need some rain I've got to pull down. I've got to paint his head in the Union Jack. I think I need more coffee. Are we okay with me getting a second cup of coffee?
Because he's a pirate.
To finish the paint. What?
We've decided he's a pirate.
Does he at least start to look good? Does he look good in his world? I paint some weird paintings. But I'll own it.
We're going to say, because you keep calling it a Union Jack that he's going to have on his back. So he's going to be a pirate. And that's why.
It's not in his calling. I'm so sorry about that.
Can
I have coffee?
It's a Union flag?
Coffee. I know you're tired. Coffee. It's Valentine's Day coffee. Sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. What? Oh, you should get a fresh cup of water, babe, because the water is getting muddy. No. He didn't get the water. He's gonna have to go back for it. And it's water. No, that's good. I turned the painting around. You can't get me. All I can do is get my paint. A lot of people like to add soap to their water as a flow aid, but it may actually impact how you're... Huh? You're not changing the paint water because the water is really muddy and it will muddy up my colors, and this is already a dark painting, and if I let my colors get muddy, the painting will become too dark and it will just be a big black gray mess. What? Fresh coffee. I'm sorry. Mr. Water. I have this little water mister. I like it very much. It's a good time to do that if you're in a hot studio like me. Mr. Self, if you're in a hot studio like me, how are you? Are you taking good care of yourselves? I've had a week. I don't know what kind of week you had. I had a week. We've been running a little bit behind, as you probably know. Oh, look, now I just look like sweaty. It isn't a good look. Well, when you're 20 and you do this, you're like, mist, 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 mist. And you just look more amazing. And then at this age, you just look like, you're hot. But I got bubbles. And you don't.
So I will say that I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us. This is always so nice. So, okay, I have your coffee brewing. Are you going to show us what's our
No,
next?
I'm going to dance now. Show's over.
Show's just
You
dance
guys
showing
figured it
off.
out. You're good, right? It's good. It's good. I've taught y'all how to paint. You don't need me no more.
See,
This
now
is like when Mary Poppins kicks everybody out. That's a horrible part of the movie. I hated that part of the movie.
now they're all telling me it's not a pirate flag. It's the English flag. I know. I'm
going to probably have to switch to a smaller brush to do it, but I've got a little brush trick I do. But I need my picture-in-picture to
okay. I can
do
do
it.
that. Hold on.
And it doesn't matter because I'm going to paint in his darker jacket anyways.
So sorry. I know it's a Union
It's a Union flag, right?
Union flag.
Not a Union Jack,
And
which
we have
I said
learned
wrong, and I'm super sorry,
Union-
and I probably messed up the search result, and it doesn't even know what I painted anymore.
So unless he's a privateer, which would be the more accurate word, where he is under the flag of England, doing his privateer activity,
Yeah, that's what happened.
because he's a sailor.
I am dry brushing over my underpainting because I want his jacket to feel super rustic,
Ooh, yeah.
right?
I like that. It's very Pac de la Loup.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite French movie. If you're in France, best movie you ever made.
I don't know.
Le Pac de Loup.
Asterix and Obelix.
Or just visiting. What was that called in French? The French version's actually, the American version with Christina Applegate is okay.
Yeah.
The French version is like, you better not have done home birth before you watch it.
Nah,
And only moms who did home birth are like, and actually any mom that delivered, that way. Not going to say it on the show. Yeah. Wow. Y'all are welcome to make comments. That one's a freebie.
I liked all that the Asterix and Obelix series.
I know you do.
Even I don't think they ever they closed caption. They didn't dub them, which was
not the same. So I'm just doing this little jacket here, trying to get this in. I'm darkening it up because obviously if this light's in front of him, he's not quite a silhouette, but he would be quite dark.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He would be quite dark. Do I hear motorcycle racing outside? Or is that you?
No, not me.
Then it's motorcycle racing. Why is
There
there
could be.
motorcycle racing?
I don't. It's hard to say.
So weird. All right, I'm going to get a little white paint into this thing, and I'm come here and come and line the shoulder. Let me get out of the way.
Good.
Just pull the light back on the jacket.
Yeah.
And then I've got to come back with a little dark paint. And I really like the blue and the black. The thing is that we're trying to do is we're telling a very dark story, but we've got to keep it light. There has to be enough light in any painting, a keyhole even, so that we can relate to the narrative. So just be careful not to take away your narratives. Just trying to back into the brown. Right, I'm just trying to give it that old. You know the jackets, they're like old. What kind of jackets are they? They're old and brown, and guys love them. That old brown jacket with wool on the inside. You know what I'm talking about, John? Or
No.
are you just abandoning me?
I was reading about Union Jacks.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
What have we learned?
So, our community.
What have we learned?
Our community has.
Would like us to do better?
Well, no, they were giving me some just sort of like background because it's real interesting, and so I got slightly distracted, but so it says the claim that the term Union Jack properly refers to only naval usage has been disputed following historical investigations by the Flag Institute of 2013. So the Flag Institute says that there may be some questioning on whether or not we can exclusively on warships, but by and large in practice, Union Jacks are flown on warships, but not exclusively.
All right. Well, it sounds like Fun with Flags, Sheldon Cooper.
I think Sheldon would probably be able to say a lot about this.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him.
We need Big Bang Theory to come weigh in on us.
I would totally do a collab with Sheldon. He could come on and paint with you.
I don't think I'd be up for that.
I think that would be
I'm
awesome.
really patient, but Sheldon seems like a lot. So my brush is dirty, and I've added blue to it, and I'm just trying to work these jeans a little bit, and I'm going to have to darken a lot of them, but I want there to be this distinctive blue jeany feel to it. What?
We have lots of funny stuff happening out in the community. They like the idea of bomber jackets.
Well, he's going to have wool up here, so it's
Yeah.
going to be totally that.
That cool.
I'm just scrumbling that, but then I've got to get quite dark, because pretty much...
Yes, that's what they were talking about. The original The Visitors.
The Visitors was what?
That was the French version.
The French version was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And it was just visiting in America.
Just visiting.
Yeah.
And it was just brilliant. And it was one of those movies. So, like, in France, there wasn't a lot of stuff that was subtitled.
Mm-mm.
So, like, I actually got to see the Pacte de Deux. And I had enough French to kind of know some of what was going on, but really not most of it. But we went with a family who sat there, and they were my personal dubbing. So I really loved it. And then this, just visiting The Visitors, I got to do. They had subtitles.
Yeah.
I was like, man. Then I got to see a really upsetting French movie about a well that just went on a really long time that was on TV, and it wasn't subtitled, so I don't really know what was going on. But basically, I kept thinking this guy's either going to have to die or get water from this well, but yet neither of those two things happened like the whole movie.
So, and you watched a lot of Fire TV in France.
Huh?
You watched a lot of Fire TV in
For
France.
these?
No, when you were living in France. You watched The Fireplace.
Oh, Fire TV, yes.
Yeah, Fire
Fire
TV.
TV was my big TV. Lady Grey, Earl T, and Fire TV, and we just watched The Fireplace, which was really good. I have to tell you, when you get away from the news and when you can't hear all the stuff, you relax a lot.
Yeah, that's why retreats are nice. So you can get some of that creativity going. You can hear yourself.
Yeah, where you're not taking in the world, because the world really can pull you out of your creative space.
Mm-hmm.
Just in a way that's not helpful. So you can see I'm just creating a little bit of highlights to the inside thing of the legs. And I'm trying to say that these are sort of loose, baggy, butted jeans. This is what I'm trying to say. Loose, baggy, butted jeans.
Sounds reasonable.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I hear Luna. You going to go get her?
I will.
Better go now.
So astronaut was
come
wondering.
in here.
Astronaut was curious. Who is that male voice that's disembodied?
This is my husband John. You can't do these live shows really easily without a helper. It's really hard to do it alone because you can't read the comments, and then if you have live camera switching like what I have, you can't really get that. And so it's important to have a teammate, and I'm lucky enough to have my husband. A lot of us on YouTube have a partner for the lives if we're painting. Gamers can just go. Like, you're watching Chris plays games. It's just Chris. Sometimes he lets Mrs. CPG come in. That's pretty funny. That doesn't have anything to do with art. How are you liking the painting so far? Is it working out? Are you liking it? Is it working for you? How's your painting coming out? I know this is a more complicated piece because it's got this muted, crazy color palette, and I still haven't worked all of that. I still could pop more highlights here. You can just keep working these values, but I want to get this painted in and get at least the lightning in, so at least we can say we painted a guy on the railroad tracks. This is an image I've been wanting to paint forever.
Yeah.
Do you have my coffee?
Oh, sorry.
You're amazing. John is amazing. Everybody, the disembodied voice, stunt hands is incredible. There's no web page. There's no Sherpa. There's no anything without him. I couldn't do any of it in any way. Just bragging on
It'll
you.
be up just in here in just a minute.
So I'm going to try to pop a highlight on those jeans a little bit later. And right now, I've got to try to figure out how to get my little guitar in. And so my first color I'm going to paint in, I think, on this guitar. And the reason I had initially pulled out the ultramarine blue is that I was going to paint the guitar in first with ultramarine blue. I'm going to just work this all into the guitar. I'm going to paint the whole body of the guitar with the base of ultramarine blue. It can help to add a smidge of white to it for coverage, because sometimes things have a very translucent pigment, and that can help coverage, especially if you're doing student paint, you know, like Liquitex Basics or Loft or something. And you can see at this point, you could just do any guitar right here. So if you're painting this for a person in your life that you really care about and love, that's okay, because you can paint their guitar. I'm just painting this guitar because it's a collab about London. And if you like collabs, if you like to just paint all day for free, right? And even though this is the length of a painting party painting, not only is it free, but dude, you'd never get anything this cool at a painting party. Because we awesome.
I'm pretty sure that not all. This reminds me of the areas where the underground railroads, the subways and things come out from underneath, and they kind of cruise along the little bits of the countryside.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of cool.
I just couldn't find an authentic London-scape scene to throw here that was real, that I could verify.
Well, yeah. So I mean, this is sort of that abstracted,
Abstracted, he's on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Gonna go be a rock star. Gonna go change the world. Right? Who doesn't want to do that? I want to do that. Don't you want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that. I'm gonna rinse this off, and I'm gonna add a little more depth and stuff to hair. So I'm gonna come back with my burnt umber. Just make sure that is defined in some way better than what I have now, and I'll have to come darken the back of the head. So the head can be outlined with the glow, but the back of the head needs to be dark, like quite dark, because of where your lighting is. So that's just something to think about. And what's nice is that you can really halo the hair, so you can give a figure that has this type of lighting a halo around them, which we're going to do. And we're going to exaggerate that halo with rain splatter, because we've just decided, hey, whatever, we can do anything. I'm just stroking around my guitar. As my guitar gently weeps. I'm going to come and create a shadow along the handle and off this. Maybe a little shadow there. And the pens are also going to help me in a little bit, which is going to be great. I have to let that dry some. So I'm going to add a little, don't you think a little pop to the jeans, Mr. Cooney? Yeah. So I'm taking a little white and a little blue. Oh, okay. Well, I just did a little white and a little ultramarine blue, and I'm going to just come on the outside edge of this leg here. And just very lightly pull a little highlight in.
Come down there, you can see that.
Just a little highlight. All right, maybe pull this one a little. See that? How that creates that sort of denim space. Look at that. See how that looks. That's too bright, guys. Too bright for the painting. And that'll happen sometimes. You're like, oh my gosh, it's too bright. So I'm going to get some glaze. I got a little black paint on. Did it just sizzle at you? I'm just checking my paint. Okay, see, I just knocked that back just a titch. Like a half shade with a little glaze of black. Because it was just too much. And sometimes that'll happen. You'll be like, that's too much. See, now that's better. So we got that sense of denim. We've got that sense of the jacket. But we don't have, any worry about, any of that stuff. I'm going to take this little brush right here. This is a teeny tiny little brush. This is a short round number. It's a silver.
It's a 0.
It's a 0.
A 0.
I might even put out some fluid there. And I'm going to use a little of my kind of blue-black mixture that makes gray. So I don't want it to be white because this is a dark painting. And I'm going to very carefully create little curly, hopefully you guys can see this. These are teeny tiny little curly lines. Look at this. You love it?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is wool. Fun stuff. I have fun with this stuff. Have fun with this stuff. So as I'm coming back through, I'm going to darken it up. can still have a little highlight to it so that it's still seen, but you would want it to be darker, obviously, behind, right? So it still feels like that texture, but the highlight of the texture is to the outer edge. See, then it's like, oh, see how that looks over there? It's okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Could be pretty cool. Now I'm going to take a little of my, Australian Sienna or, Indian yellow, whichever yellow you're using, your bright yellow, and my white. The fluid paint really helps this brush do its job. I'm going to just come on the outside here.
They really like the way that those curls are coming in.
Yeah, it's just a little something, right?
Yeah, a little
something. You couldn't see it all the way around. By the way, in the hair, you can have this in the hair. This halo can happen around the head.
Just some sunlight glancing there.
That's the halo, which you would only get in a painting lit like this. But you're going to be really working your brush, going from, hey, this would be in total shadow, to there's a halo. And it takes, let me see how it's done. Yeah, see, so it's very little, but then when you get away with it, then you're starting to get that sense of it, and that is what you're looking for. All right, so I'm just adding a little of that here.
And that's just some of the glow that's wrapping around.
Yeah, we're just creating that sense of glow that would be happening.
That's cool.
Around the head, and then where we overglow, we just come back with the brown. All right, just applying a little hair brush stroke. Back to the little white on there. You might even go like back into the burnt, because what you're going to try to do is create a little hair blowing. And just that's funny.
Everyone thinks this is real. They love the collar. They think the way that the collar is popping together is really.
Oh, I'm
really
so
funny.
glad.
And they're all telling now that they're coming up with the stories of our musician friend here. Is he walking home from a gig, or is he walking to a gig?
Yeah, where's he going? What's happening with him? Something's afoot, right?
Is this the journey home from a successful gig, or is he walking home because he didn't have enough to buy a ticket?
Because those are both real stories.
Yeah.
But for an artist, they're both really honorable stories. Sometimes the world likes to tell us that our art dreams are only validated by money.
Yeah.
But really, money isn't the primary measure of success in art.
It's really true.
It's nice. Helps do more paintings. I'm not saying that ain't good.
It helps buy more canvases.
It really does.
But, being true to what you like and expression, I think, is a lot.
It's a big deal.
And that's why, we encourage you guys to, paint. Share your paintings. You can do this.
You can. They can't.
Even on these paintings, like these 3-hoot paintings, I know it can seem complex, but it's just one painting at a time gets you here.
And knowing every once in a while, I'll keep throwing out the super easy stuff, right? Don't worry. I'll keep throwing it out. But knowing that you've got growth, that's a big deal. Right? I'm going to get back into my black. Knowing that you've grown and that, will always help you. I've got my paint pen for other stuff. So now we're going to try to get in.
I like
as
it.
Craftily as we can.
He's looking really cool there, hanging out on his little.
Going to switch to a number 2.
Okay.
And I'm going to first start out. I'm going to use my fluid white that I put out anyways. And guys, I'm freehanding this sucker in, so bear with me. I'm going to come from here to here. So I'm going to say from here to here.
Why doesn't he have his guitar in a bag when it's raining? Good point.
He lost it in a poker game?
I
don't know, man.
It's a magical axe.
It is.
It is. It doesn't.
This is total supernatural time. Can't you tell? So I'm gonna try to do this crisscross. So I'll say it's gonna come right about here.
It's one of these.
It's gonna end right about there.
The celestial axes from Footy Cootie.
From where?
Footy Cootie.
Footy Cootie?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Footy Cootie. Sorry guys, we just went anime on you. Please forgive us. You followed the dorkiest painter online.
But we're now painting our British flag onto his magical axe.
We are.
You know, this could be Captain Britain in success. In you know, just hanging out there.
I'm gonna do this.
Okay, you do that. She's drying, leaving me all alone with all of you guys here. So, see, it wasn't that long. So
By the way, we're nearly done.
I know it looks so good.
That makes me I'm gonna put some wet on that, but that makes me pretty excited because we're doing pretty good.
Excited? Why does it make you excited?
Because we did it, man. It was an idea, and then sometimes you have an idea and you're like, man, can I do it? I don't know. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna dry it again.
Okay. She dries again. And she goes and goes. So did you ever read the comic book Excalibur?
No.
That had Captain Britain in it, and it was where Nightcrawler, he was originally part of that team.
No, I did not get that.
Yeah, there was a bunch of cool guys in there. So this could be Captain Britain. Like he's hanging out there, walking around. So this could be a superhero, like in
this
disguise.
Could be. I'm really liking Legion. Who else is crazy excited that Legion is now a show?
That's.
You fell asleep through it, so
I can't comment.
You can't. John was so tired he crashed. I give up on life.
I get up so early, and then it's like, so we go up front to have a little hug and cuddle, and I'm like, I'm in 2 seconds. I'm asleep.
2 seconds. 2 seconds into a foot rub, he was out.
Oh, I'm so. But it's we've been doing a lot lately. Yeah. But yeah, that was a cool comic book series. It's Bruce Springsteen. It's the British version of Bruce Springsteen.
The reason I'm drying is I don't want my red stripes to be pink.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. So that's that. So you're just gonna try to make sure. Oh wait, she can't hear me. I'm gonna talk to her and she'll be like. So you're gonna make sure that the underneath color isn't bleeding through, and that you have real strong
red. What I'm having happen with my red over here is it was out too long in the heat and it skinned on top. And if it skins, it starts to creep up my brush. When your paint starts to skin and dry on top, when you go to get paint, the skinning causes it to wrap around and creep up your brush. Super irritating. Maybe not as much for you as it is for me, but it makes me crazy. Like, stop skinning!
Judith is like, why not a Welsh flag? Probably.
Well, that would have been perfectly okay.
Probably because we didn't know how to do a Welsh flag.
Well, because the collab was London is calling,
that's why.
and so
that's why. Judith.
I wasn't trying to start nothing with London.
I'm pretty sure the Welsh have a dragon in their flag.
Yeah.
If I recall, because there's a really cool Welsh dragon, if I remember.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. So see how you do it this way? It gives you that weird pinstriping that you need to have for the flag because the order you're painting the stripes. Right. It's very helpful. Then I'm going to just get a little black paint. Right? I'm going to look at my reference picture. And I'm going to kind of... If you have a guitar person in your life you're giving this to, be real specific about this.
That's your pickup. You're putting your pickup in there. There's your bridge, I'm guessing.
Oh, good. You know what all this stuff is.
Yeah. Oh, no, you had multi-pickup. That's what it was. You had a dual pickup, and there's your bridge.
All right. You're just a cheeky beggar. So I'm terrible at lines, and what I'm going to try is to use my pens.
Okay.
At some point, and I may even outline my guitar I might outline the top with white and then the bottom with black just to help it pop. Because I'm trying to make this part of it incredibly focal in the piece. So I'm going to give a highlight here. See?
Oh, yeah.
Just highlight it a little bit. And then I'll come get a little black. Come around the bottom.
Oh, and that makes it really pop there.
It might. I don't know if it does. Does it?
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Okay. And then there's some weird dots. I'll put the dots on. I don't really know what to tell you, but they're probably important to a musician.
Yeah, you know, the fret dots. Oh, you're talking about the ones down there.
Yeah.
Okay, just 2 of them. Just give us 2.
2? One right here?
Yeah, you can put one there, and you can pretty much, as long as, you know,
Is
sure.
that okay?
He'll work it out.
And then is there one up here? Can I have that one?
If you
It's in the picture, so I don't know. That's all I'm doing. I'm just following the picture.
You can get it. You can get those in there. He's got a real custom guitar.
So I'm going to add a little of the little thingies here, little dots for that.
The tuners.
Yeah, sure.
Look, you're getting it in there.
So he's kind of in there. I'm probably going to do the rest of that with pen.
Yeah, this is.
Now I'm going to do the splash on him in a couple of places. So I'm going to switch to a small bristle brush.
What do you mean splash?
So when we do the rain, we're going to do some rain streaks too, because it's not enough. And I might want to hit the lightning before I hit the rain. So let me do this first.
Okay.
Let me take this little scrumbly number 2 bright with a nice filament here, and I'm going to come. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do I'm going to do something crazy.
Oh, crazy it is.
This is crazy, y'all. But because I want this to be the only blue, and I still want to put lightning in there, I'm going to do the alternative way of doing lightning.
Oh, what's that?
I'm going to get this cad yellow and a little white, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a lightning strike.
Okay, let's see it. And like Raiden, the Sherpa calls forth lightning from the sky.
Sure, okay. I just feel like it was very important that this guy be in the full rock storm kind of experience. I'm going to get this yellow, I'm going to get this thing right here. I'm going to get a little of my glazing liquid and my yellow. And I'm going to start putting in my lightning.
Ooh, that looks cool. I wasn't quite sure what to expect and where it was going to come from. So that's really neat. And that's kind of showing.
Is just to have it be so like weird, right? You want it to be weird, and then I'm going to come get some just white in there, just white loaded on the brush. And this part will have just white, and then inside your little stripes, do the brighter white. So even though usually I would do this in a blue, this time I will not. I think I'll actually have this going behind the bush, so I'll take this forward strike away because it's putting it in the wrong space. Because this is a distant strike. See that there? So I got to take that away. I'll come just get a little of this black onto my brush and a little glazing liquid and just really quickly erase that.
Oh, zoop, 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 zoop. Oh, so it's striking behind those trees.
Yeah.
Ah.
Strike is distant. He hasn't gotten to it yet.
This is pretty cool.
All right, so he's got a strike and he's got that. Now I'm back to my weird little brush. I gotta get the yellow way out of it because I'm gonna go just into my heavy-bodied white if I can.
Okay.
All right. And I'm gonna work these bristles with my thumb. Don't tell anyone I did that. But I want it to be a little scrumbly. See how it's a little scrumbly?
Mm-hmm.
Little scruffy. I'm gonna come here on the shoulder and I'm gonna splash up a little bit.
Ooh. Oh, those are like little rain splashes. Oh, nice.
Just a little bit. I don't think we had any on the guitar.
It's a magical guitar. It repels water.
Maybe we'll say a little bit there. So we have that, right? A couple places we can even put it on the tracks. Look at that. Little pushes up, right? Places it might be. It might not necessarily be everywhere. So you're just trying to say places it could be.
So now
Places it could be. Little splashes up of rain that's starting to come down. We've kind of done this before in simple paintings, haven't we?
Yeah.
This process,
now
this idea.
there's a lot of folks that with us at home that are trying to paint along with you. They're trying to keep up.
Oh, goodness. Don't do that.
It's we're trying to do this in an hour-ish, 2-hour show for you guys.
Yeah,
right?
you paint at your own pace. I have been doing this for decades and decades and decades, and then been doing it alongside my mother.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And so, you know what I mean? And then I've done performance paintings live a long time before I was ever on YouTube.
And
Plus
everybody.
painting parties. But you have to get everybody out of the painting party in 3 hours, or the people that own the places lose their minds.
And keep in mind that you guys are combining learning with art. And not everybody learns the same way. So you may need to hit pause a lot. You may need to watch and rewind things. Or you may just watch it once and then go do it on your own. So none of these are wrong answers. These are all just about how you learn, and we're just trying to help you by giving you all the tools you need.
So I've dusted my brush with both a little white and a little yellow, but I'm going to come back into the white because I want this to be kind of, like what's on his shoulder. And I'm going to add to my landscape.
Pretty good.
I'm going to add, and this is helped by now we've got rain. So now we have sunlight and rain.
Let me get down and see what you're doing. Oh, I see.
All right. We can even come back here.
A little bit there.
Little rain. Little rain. It's raining. Isn't it? Tree has rain in front of it. And the trick is, my trick, and where it really comes together or falls apart, is how I can hold my angles. Right? Can I hold these angles easily?
Oh, wow.
And if I can...
That's really cool how that just,
then it starts to really feel like, what you're trying to make it be. There it is. Getting there. Dry brush. Less is more. Some people will even pull very hard, lines.
Uh-huh.
Right? Which isn't really my style, but just know that in art, goodness gracious, there's so many ways.
No wrong answers. It's just how does this express your idea?
Something may not be good for paint, but it might be good for the project. A lot of people add silicone oil to pores. May not be good for paint, but by the time you seal it in resin, probably is okay. Right, so see, now we've got some rain happening, don't we?
Wow.
How's that looking over there?
I
Looking
like it.
pretty
See?
good.
I think that looks pretty good.
Right? Could be more Haley. No, you're deciding. You decide. Right?
So
how
thank you,
hard is the
guys.
weather that this guy's doing? And then I'm going to try these paint pens, and then I'm going to sign it with one of these suckers, and then we've done this.
Wow.
I'm really surprised we did.
Well, this has been
This
really
was without a
great.
rehearsal, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to shake this sucker up, and I'm going to read what they say.
That's true. You've never painted this painting before, have you?
Never painted this painting. It was an imagination. I had this in my head and then was mashing up. I wanted to mash up pictures. I knew what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I just, had to make it.
You had to
Now, on all of
concede.
these, you've got to press them up and down. This is the fun next part. You go dab, 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 dab. There it is. There it is. My reference.
Oh, you're
That's okay. All right, I'll just pin these little
I
knobs
can put
here.
that right back up here. I thought you were about done with that, so I can.
Make sure these are nice and round. You can even kind of work out your flag here with your pen.
Oh yeah.
By the way, this company has a great red, black, all these colors. There's a lot of fun stuff we can do when we have paint pens. Right?
Everybody thinks this looks great. It really thinks this is cool.
Couldn't help it.
Narda says, this looks so amazing. Thank you for doing this.
Now I'm going to use my pens to maybe define these splashes.
No, we've taken Sherpa chat away from Cinnamon while she's out there painting because she likes to read. So I try to give her some messages. Oh, good.
You can totally... No, I'm not watching. Responding to you in any way.
I'm watching.
I'm just like, woohoo! I'm there.
We're ready to do it.
Is it good? I don't know. But, you know.
You know what that means? It's Sherpa awesomeness. We did it. You got to do the You Did It dance. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. This was a little bit more painting than we normally do, wasn't it?
It's 3-hoot. We haven't done one in a while. This goes into the 3-hoot playlist. If you did it, you are an advanced beginner. Woo!
Now, what kind of paint pen was that you were using?
Molitor.
Okay.
I'll put it in the description.
Cool.
With my affiliate links, Molitor. One for all.
Oh. So
I like them. They're like the paint pens that I'm liking. And iron locks, I like those too.
So we will have, if you guys should go out to TheArtSherpa.com, sign up over there if you haven't already, and check out the calendar because we keep that updated with all the kind of stuff. Angela will be doing her stuff
at 6.
At 6, so just in about an hour, just a little under an hour away, you'll be able to catch her out. And if you're a time-traveling Time Lord like some of us, then you can just click right over to her channel and find it waiting for you there on VOD. So
this is London is Calling.
London is Calling, that's right. So I guess that's about it for us.
That's about it for us today. We probably will see you soon. Watch for surprise events.
Yeah.
So you got to follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, our website, TheArtSherpa.com, Pinterest, and YouTube. And if you're everywhere, you probably have a pretty good chance of knowing what the heck we're up to today.
Ooh. So
because it's always something.
It is always something.
And it's free.
So thank you guys for joining us. We look forward to catching you again real soon. Love you guys.